The Associated Press reports the special counsel investigating possible collusion between Russia and the Trump campaign wants to interview President Trump. The report says details haven't been worked out between special counsel Robert Mueller and the White House. It is believed a meeting between the two would signal the investigation is nearing an end. And one topic that doesn't look like it's going to be resolved soon, Mr. Gizzi, is immigration. Joining us now is John Gizzi, White House correspondent for Newsmax. Welcome back to the program.
Thanks for having me, Lauren. Always a pleasure, and a Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you, John. Right before the show, it was released that Steve Bannon, former counselor to the president, former chief strategist to the president, is stepping down from his role at Breitbart.com. What does that mean? Is this because of the, let's put it mildly, the dust-up that he got into with President Trump?
I'd say there's a pretty good chance of it. The fact is that Steve Bannon did become a celebrity of sorts, a national figure, and at one point was known as the man who made Donald Trump president. That didn't last long, and we saw that he was out. And I think the resultant furor stemming from Michael Wolff's book, Fast and Fury, was the final step in his career. I'd say one more thing, though. Every president has a Steve Bannon, it seems, someone who helps make them
quote unquote
president, claims the credit, and then is brought down in part by hubris. Franklin Roosevelt had a man named Hugh Johnson, a West Point graduate, just as Steve Bannon is an Annapolis graduate. He was someone who got to know the candidate Roosevelt through wealthy backers, such as Bernard Baruch, just as Steve Bannon's conduit to Trump was the Mercer family. And in the end, he helped make the New Deal. He was Time Magazine's Man of the Year in 1933, and then fired in little more than a year. He went on to be a journalist.
Wow, he fell that far. Let's move on to immigration. Today in the briefing room, you asked Sarah Sanders a question about the border wall, and you said, has the president abandoned the idea of Mexico paying for the wall? What did she say?
She said, no, he has not.
And then what?
Next question, please.
Yeah, right.
And by the way, my words coming from you, Lauren, sound so beautiful and so prescient.
Thank you. No, you delivered them very well today. The idea of Mexico paying for that wall always stuck in people's craw, I think, that, or in Mexico's at least, yeah. And people weren't sure that that was really the right solution. And now he is saying that it doesn't even have to be a wall. Is that right? It could be border security. Is this going to make his base mad?
I think it's going to make people start to ask questions about it. Look, have you seen the way this promise begins to diminish bit by bit? First it was, we will build a wall and make Mexico pay for it. And then gradually, right up to his penultimate statement on this, the Mexico paying for it disappeared. Governor Gracchus, the chairman of the Mexican Governors Association, said this summer that the fact he asks for appropriations and names figures is a sign he's not going to make Mexico pay for it. Now, as you point out, he's talking about security and that is a wall. I think it's going to make people who like the straight-talking, non-politician businessman Trump start to wonder if he's just not like the others who talks through both sides of his mouth.
And with that, we will leave it there. John Gizzi, White House correspondent for Newsmax. Thank you, John.
Thank you, Lauren.